guys? So in the previous class I gave you certain questions to solve, right, for the conversion of gamma distribution and chi-square distribution. So did you guys attempt it? Did you guys try attempting it? Okay. So let's start with the previous class question only. Okay, what was the question? Let me check once. Yes, my first question was I have to find probability x is greater than 6.5. This was the first question, right? Is it right? Let's start with a newer question and then we can see can we convert it or not. Okay. Yes, we were finding actually x followed my gamma distribution 2 comma 1.5 and my px is greater than 4 I have to calculate. Okay. So what did I tell you the relationship between the gamma distribution and the chi-square distribution was that 2 lambda x follows my chi-square 2 alpha. Was that it? Right. Now 2 is 2, my lambda is 1.5 and my x is x. This must follow my 2 into alpha which is 2. So 3x must follow my chi-square 4. Yes. So now look, this is 3x, I have this x. So what I will do is multiply by 3 both sides. So I get my probability 3x is greater than 12. Is that okay? Now I say my 3x is already following my chi-square. So I write here chi-square 4 is greater than 12. Now I can write this chi-square 4 is less than 12 and I have this in my tables book. So let's check chi-square values, and since I said you can check in the limits or you can check in the shaded graph. Now shaded graph is in less than portion, that is I want the probability values of this only, or I can say my integration is from 0 to x. It means I am talking about the less than values, right? So I have to check for what are my units. I have to check for my nu is equal to 4 and my x is equal to 12. So nu is equal to 4. These are for nu is equal to 3. So I don't have to do anything from this page. I will come to this fourth page. Now for coming to this fourth page, I need to check it 12. So what is my value? Can you see? Let me zoom it out. It is 0.9826. Okay. So my value is 1 minus 0.9826. This is equal to 0.0174. Now are you getting the answer, guys? So there was doubt in this question. Is this clear now? Is it clear? So if this is clear, let us move forward to our next distribution. Put down the heading beta distribution. Again, it is not that important distribution at this phase, but once we are talking about further chapters, for example, credibility theory, prior distribution and Bayesian stats, prior distribution, posterior distribution, in those chapters beta distribution becomes a little more important, okay, but still we have to understand the PDFs and variance and expectations of beta distribution. So basically we will be talking about in 12 to 13 chapters, okay. So PDF, if I say my small fx, this is equal to alpha plus beta gamma, alpha gamma and beta gamma. Okay, this gamma I already told you. If I am writing alpha plus beta gamma, this basically means the whole thing less 1 and I have a factorial thing. If I say gamma alpha, it is alpha minus 1 factorial. Beta gamma is SA beta minus 1 factorial. Okay, so this is the PDF. Now you can see what are the parameters involved here. This is the coefficient. Again I have x alpha minus 1 here and I have 1 minus x beta minus 1 here, where my range goes from 0 x 1. Okay, now can you see the range of my x is 0 x 1, right? It cannot exceed 1, it cannot exceed 0, right? So I can say beta distribution can be a good distribution to calculate the probabilities, right? What is my range of probability? My range of probability is 0 to 1 only, and here also the range of my beta distributions value are 0 to 1. So it can be used, can be better used to simulate probability values. Okay, not directly used, not directly tested in exam, but you should know. Okay, I am getting, if my ranges are same, then I can compare the distribution. Okay, this distribution can be used here, this distribution can be used here. Okay, clear? Shall we move forward? So I can write my x is a random variable, it will follow my beta distribution, and what are the two parameters can you see here? Alpha and beta only. So alpha comma beta. Okay. Now if I talk about its mean and expectation, mean is basically alpha upon alpha plus beta, and variance is a little complicated. It is alpha beta upon alpha plus beta square and alpha plus beta plus 1. You do not have to memorize any of the PDF, variance and expectation until I say that this distribution is very, very, very important. Okay? Clear, guys? Give me a yes in the chat box if this is clear, then we can move forward to a question. Then I will tell how is this beta distributions, direct PDF and variance expectation are helping me out in my calculations. Quickly tell me, guys. Now write down the question. This I am leaving for you so that you can get a guess. Write down a question. The random variable x has a PDF. What is the PDF given out to be? Kx cube 1 minus x square, where my range is given out to be 0 x1 and my k is a constant. You have to determine the value of k. You have to determine the value of k. I am giving you 2 minutes. Think of this question. Look, here it can be two approaches. One, since I have given this question after beta distribution, so obviously beta distribution was gonna be used. Okay, but directly you won't be able to apply this beta distribution. So what you can do is integrate the whole range. Okay, my range of x is 0 to 1. If I am integrating all the PDFs across my entire range, it means I am summing up all the potential probabilities. And when I sum up all the potential probabilities by the law of total probability, which says the sum of all probabilities is always 1. So either you can use this relationship or you can use beta distribution. Okay, if you are not going to use beta distribution, then use this relationship and tell me the answer. PDF you have to use this only. So your integration becomes basically this, and this should be equal to 1. So you open up the brackets, you multiply the things and then you integrate. Basic integration. Guys, come on, do it. And give me the answer. What is k coming out to be? Waiting for 2 minutes. So let's start solving. I've received answer. Okay. So let's do it first with integration. Okay, rest of the students who have done it, give me an answer in the chat box. Okay. So 0 to 1, k is a constant. Let me move it out of my integral. Okay, is that clear? X cube 1 minus x whole square dx should be equal to 1. So it means my integral, let me solve the left hand side only. So if I multiply 1 plus x square minus 2x, I just open up the identity of a minus b whole square. Okay. Moving forward, k 0 to 1 x cube plus x5 minus 2x4 dx. I didn't do anything new. I just multiplied this with this and this with this. Okay. Then I would take the separate integrals. So it will become x4 by 4, x6 by 6 and it will get minus 2x5 by 5 and we are putting the limit 0 to 1. So again I put in my values, so 1 by 4 plus 1 by 6 minus 1 by 5, right, and I have nothing but 0 here. So if I solve it in the calculator, put in the values of 1 by 4 plus 1 by 6, 1 by 4 plus 1 by 6 and I have 1 by 5 here. I am getting some error, just a second. Yeah, it's 2, sorry, it's basically 2. So I am getting this as 1 by 60 and this was equal to 1. So I can say I just multiplied this in this side, so I get k is equal to 60. So this was by using the law of total probability. Any doubt in this? Pretty simple formula. If you can't compare anything to distribution, if you can't compare, then the best approach is to go with the law of total probability, integrate it on the entire range and then equate it to 1. Clear? Now what could I have done is, my PDF was given out to be kx square, I guess. It was kx cube. Yes, kx cube 1 minus x square. What was my beta distributions PDF? It was alpha plus beta gamma, alpha gamma beta gamma x alpha minus 1 beta 1 minus x beta minus 1, right. Now I can compare, this is a constant term because it does not involve any of my variable, that is x basically here, right. So this is my constant and my k is also a constant, so I can compare it as k. This is my x term. Now it is saying that x cube I have to compare with x alpha minus 1. So bases are same, I can directly equate my powers. So 3 plus 1 is my alpha. So alpha is coming out to be 4. Similarly you can see 1 minus x here, 1 minus x here. So 1 minus x square I have to compare with 1 minus x beta minus 1. My bases are same, so I can directly equate my powers. So beta comes out to be 3. So I can say my x now follows beta 4 comma 3. If it is my beta 4 comma 3, my coefficient k, which is my equation as alpha plus beta, alpha plus beta. So I can write it as 4 plus 3 gamma, 4 gamma, 3 gamma. So I have 7 gamma, 4 gamma, 3 gamma. If you want to calculate it, it will become 7 minus 1 6 factorial, 4 minus 1 3 factorial, 3 minus 1 2 factorial. So it will basically become, so you can just directly calculate it in your calculator. It is again coming out to be 60. So this was more easier than integrating because here the PDF was pretty simple, right. But in some other distribution, for example, here, are you not able to understand this or this? So for example, if you get a little complicated PDF, then the integration by parts will become a lengthy process in itself. So one of the best alternative is to identify which distribution it resembles, okay. This may not be able to be done in the first attempt only. It may take some time so that you get accustomed to your distributions. So take your 1 minute of time or 30 seconds of your time, 30 to 1 minute is max. Take 30 seconds of time, then think, can I relate it to some distribution? If yes, then compare the PDF, get the parameters and get the constant value, okay. Otherwise, do not spend more than 1 minute on the same thing, try with the integration, okay. Even though it is a longest method, but you would be spending your equal time in the thinking. Clear, guys? Let's start with our most important distribution, normal distribution. Name itself suggests normal and it is used mostly, okay. In normal situations, in special situations, we use normal distribution. Clear? First, let's talk about the properties of normal distribution rather than shifting to directly to the PDF and variances, okay. So you can note down these properties in your notebook. Clear? This is the shape of a normal distribution. You can see it is a bell-like shape, right. The bell is also in the shape of this, right. So it is a bell-shaped. So I can say normal distribution is, first property is bell-shaped curve. Clear? First property. Second property, I can write it is symmetrical distribution. When I say symmetrical distribution, it means symmetrical around mean. So if I say the mean value, that is the average value, is here mu. So this area would be That is, something less than mu would be 50% and something greater than mu would be 50%. Clear? Is this clear? What is the meaning of symmetrical distribution? Symmetrical basically means if I am talking about mu, so probability that any value would be greater than mu would be equal to probability any value being less than mu 50%. Are these two properties clear? Quickly give me a yes. Quickly give me a yes. Is this property clear? Mu is basically my mean value, mid average value, okay. So anything greater than mu will have 50% probability, anything less than mu would be having 50% probability. That is why it is called symmetrical, because we are having equal probabilities before this and after this, okay. And you can see the peak is at my mu only, and peak of any graph means mode, so it means here mode is also equal to mu. Similarly, this is the mid value. Obviously 50% here data, 50% here data, it means this must be the mid value. Median, what is the condition for median? That probability x is less than x should be equal to 0.5. So this is my median, so it is also equal to median. So it is the only distribution in which my mean equals median equals mode equals its parameter mu, okay. Symmetrical distributions property is mean is equal to mode equals to median. Okay guys, now let's move to its PDF, a very complicated PDF, so you don't have to memorize it, use tables books for your PDF, okay. So your PDF is basically 1 by root sigma root 2 pi e minus 1 by 2 x minus mu by sigma whole square, where my x is following normal distribution. I don't have to write complete normal word, I can write n only, okay. Normal distribution with its parameter mu comma sigma square. Everyone clear? Tell me. Give me a yes if this is clear till now. Okay, now if I come to its range, x is lying from positive infinity to negative infinity to positive infinity. It means if I have to put in the range here, it is minus infinity to infinity, okay. It means it can take negative value as well, it can take positive value as well. So we are defining the ranges of every distribution, right? For chi-square it was 0 to infinity. For here it is minus infinity to infinity. Beta distribution it was 0 to 1. These ranges are also given in your tables book, so you don't have to memorize these as well. Now what can we model here? We can model here, for example, the weights of student. What I will say, mostly the weights of student is 150 kilogram, mostly the student's weight is 60 kilograms, that is, it is my mean weight, okay. But there can be extreme cases as well. Highest concentration is at mean only, the mode will be 60 kilograms only. Most of the students will be weighing 60 kilograms, but there would be some students who are, for example, 90 kgs or who are, for example, 40 kgs as well, okay. So you can see here the graph is not touching here, so it means we have tail values. It means we will having some extreme cases. So it has some extreme cases, but most of the data, can you see, most of the data is centered around here only, right? Most of the data is centered around this middle portion only. So this is also the property of normal distribution, that most of my data is centered around mean only. That's why it is symmetrical on mean centering. Clear, guys? Now moving forward, its expectation and variance are its parameters only. X was following my normal mu comma sigma square. So my first parameter is my mean, my second parameter is my variance only. This is the notation, sigma square. And if I say STD, that is my standard deviation. What is my standard deviation? It is basically root of variance. Root of variance means root of sigma square. So basically sigma. So mean is mu, variance is sigma square, and standard deviation, which is SD, is my sigma. These are the statistics of my normal distribution. Clear? Giving you 20 seconds, grasp everything up, and then we will start with standard normal distribution. Why we will move to standard normal distribution? Because if we have to calculate the probabilities value, I don't have the probabilities values for normal distribution. I have them for standard normal distribution. Okay? So we need to understand what is standard normal distribution, how can we convert my normal distribution to standard normal distribution, and then how can I locate my table book values. So I am giving you 20 seconds. If you want me to move on the slides up or down, you can ask me. If you want to note anything down, if you want to ask me any doubt till now, you can give me that also. Giving you 20 seconds, grasp everything up. Okay? Okay, guys. Now coming to standard normal distribution. You can see we are standardizing something. When we standardize, what we do is we define a new random variable. For example, my x was following normal mu comma sigma square. So I will define a new random variable z, which will follow my standard normal distribution. Basically normal distribution I can write, standard normal distribution, and in standard normal distribution my mean is 0 and my variance is 1. Difference is clear. My normal distribution's specific case is my standard normal distribution, in which my mean becomes 0 and my variance becomes 1. Clear? The relationship between standard normal distribution and normal distribution is clear. Just in a similar way, my exponential distribution is a specific case of gamma distribution, right? Similarly, My geometric distribution is a special case of negative binomial distribution. My Bernoulli distribution is my specific case of binomial distribution. In the similar way, my standard normal distribution is a specific case of my normal distribution. Clear? Where my z is defined as, I take my random variable, I subtract my mu. Okay, I shift my data values and subtract them from mu, and I scale them with the sigma square. Not sigma square, basically root of sigma square, basically this. This is called standardization of normal distribution. Clear guys? This is called standardization of normal distribution. Whenever I am subtracting my mean from my random variable and I am dividing that by my standard deviation, this is called standardization of my normal distribution into standard normal distribution. Because I am standardizing my normal distribution, so obviously it will become a standard normal distribution. Note it down. Quickly note it down. Once it's done, give me a done in the chat box. Done guys? Is it done guys? Everyone? Now moving forward, the ranges and all remain same because again it is a specific case, so ranges do not change. So if I talk about my PDF, so PDF is of my normal distribution, it was this. Now if I talk about standard normal distribution, I can substitute my sigma as 1 and my mu as 0, right? So I just substitute in my values. So what I get is 1 by root 2 pi e minus 1 by 2 x square. Okay, this is my PDF of standard normal distribution. Again given in your tables book, you do not have to memorize it. And my expectation becomes 0 and my variance become 1. So this standard normal distribution, can I say it is now symmetrical around 0? It means again my ranges are minus infinity to infinity, but most of my values are centered at 0. This means for my standard normal distribution, value being less than 0 is value being greater than 0 is equal to, I can say, 50%. Okay. Okay till now? Interesting distribution, right? It is one of the easiest distribution and one of the most important distribution at the same time, and exciting as well, of course. Its shape itself is so exciting. You can interpret many things from the shape itself. Clear guys? Note this up. Now I am telling you about a table. Note this table. Come on quickly. Then I will tell you the meaning of this table. If I just divide my standard normal distribution into intervals, okay, this is my minus 1, this is my minus 2 and this is my minus 3. I can write this is my mu, this is my sigma, this is my sigma, this is my 2 sigma, this is my minus 2 sigma, this is 3 sigma and this is my minus 3 sigma. Nothing different. So here I write 0 or I say mu. I am talking about both the distribution. This is for normal distribution, this is for standard normal distribution. And this is 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Note this down, it is not usually used, but you should be able to make interpretation in case of normal distribution, and this table would help you a lot. Okay. This will become sigma, minus 2 sigma, minus 3 sigma, 2 sigma and 3 sigma. Now here write it can be left blank. This is 34%, this is 34%, this is 13.5%, not basically this, just a second. This is 68%, this is 13.5%, this is 13.5%, this is 2.35%, this is 0.15%, 2.35%, 0.15%. Note this table, I am giving you 30 seconds and then we will discuss. You can write the heading distribution of values in normal and standard normal distribution. Come on. Noted? Noted everyone? Okay. Now what is the meaning of this? This means to say that if I interpret this graph from minus 1 to minus 0, that is basically from this to this and this to this, I have this much portion which is my 68% of the portion. Okay, this is my 68% of the portion. Similarly from 1 to 2, I have my 13.5% of portion, and similarly from minus 1 to minus 2, I have my 13.5% of portion. Similarly, it is 2.35%, it is 2.35%, and if you sum these up, it will be remaining to 0.3%, and if you divide, that is anything greater than your 3 would be 0.15% only. That is so minimal value. So can you see, your maximum value, which is more than your 50% of data, is centered around your 0, that is mean, and your 1 unit of standard deviation. You can see within, I can see within my minus mu to minus sigma to sigma, that is within my 1 unit of standard deviation, mu plus sigma, mu minus sigma. Within this area only my more than 50% of data is centered. So basically this is the distribution of standard normal value, distribution of values. If I take 0, 1, 2, 3, then it becomes standard normal. If I take mu and sigma instead of 0 and 1, it becomes my normal distribution. Clear? Very much used in your higher paper interpretations. So that's why I wanted to tell you at this phase only. Clear? Any doubt in this? Anyone having any doubt in this? So shall we move forward? Now there are some properties you need to write down. Properties of normal, or I say standard normal distribution. First property is probability z is less than minus z is equal to probability z is greater than z. Second property is z is greater than minus z is equal to probability z is less than z. I interpret this using the graph only. Okay, normal distributions curve itself tells everything. So I teach you how how can you interpret this value using curve only, okay. Sometimes if you may forgot this relationship, you have the interpretation of curve, you know how to analyze the curve and you can simply get this relationship. How? Let's see. I say the 50% of data is here, 50% of data is here, and my normal distribution is symmetrical in nature, right. So for example, let's say this is my mean, this is my z, this is my negative z, right. Clear? So it means these are at same intervals, so it means the portion of this will be equal to the portion of this because it is a symmetrical distribution. Clear? The portion between this will be equal to portion between this. No doubt in this, right? Okay. Now, what can I write this portion as? If I interpret this portion of the curve in terms of my probability, what will I write this? This is basically my values which are less than minus z. So, I can write this as probability z is less than minus z. If my random variable is z, I can write this as minus z because I am talking about lesser values from here, right. Similarly, if I am moving to the rightward direction, it means I am increasing my values. So, these will constitute, for example, z plus 1, z plus 2, these are values greater than z. So, this area will basically show me probability z is greater than z, and I am saying these two things are equal. So, that is why my relationship becomes probability z is less than minus z is equal to probability z is greater than z. Is this relationship clear? Now, you can think of the same way in the second relationship. Anything greater than minus z, which portion is it? This portion. This is everything which is greater than my minus z, right? And anything which is less than my minus z, it's basically this portion. So, from one end I am leaving this, from one end I am leaving this only, from one end I am leaving this portion, from one end I am leaving this portion. I am leaving the same portion in both the cases. So, if I subtract the same thing from the one constant, then I get same values. Otherwise, how can you interpret this? We already understood probability z is less than minus z is equal to probability z is greater than z. Subtracting this from both the sides. By law of total probability, what it becomes? It becomes probability z is greater than minus z, it becomes probability z is less than z. Again, your second difference relationship derived. You do not have to derive this in your exam, but you should know how it is derived. Clear? Clear, guys? Give me a yes in the chat box, then I will move forward to questions of this standard normal distribution and normal distribution. Let's talk about the table book values as well, so that you can do easily the question. We have chi-square here. Let's move downwards. This is also chi-square. This is f. I think we have 165. Yeah. It's at 165 of tables book. Yes, you can see 166. Probabilities of standard normal distribution, there is no probability value of normal distribution. We have only for standard normal distribution. Okay. Again, which value is my tables book throwing? Is it giving me greater than values? Is it giving me less than values? So, one thing is from interpreting from graph. So, we are going from lower limit and we are restricting my upper limit till x. This means we are talking about less than values. Otherwise, if I talk about this graph, this is my x, my shaded region is less than x, that is why I am talking about less than values. Okay. So, we have our x and this is called basically CDF. This is the symbol of CDF. Okay. If you want to note down, you can note down the symbol as well. PDF is shown as small phi and CDF is shown as bigger phi. This sign is called phi. Okay. So you can see here it is bigger phi, here it is small phi. So if my x value is 0, my probability is this. If my x value is 0.9, my probability is this. Now you can see here I have not been provided negative values, but I have my range below negative also, in the negative range also. So I can use the relationship that I derived above, which is probability z is less than z. I can convert my negative values into positive value probability. Okay, that's why this relationship was important, guys. Okay. Now if this is clear, let's move forward to a question. I am giving you some time to solve the question. Your x follows normal distribution 25, 36. Your first part is probability x is less than 26. Your second part is to calculate x is less than 20. Your third part is to calculate x is greater than 30. And your fourth part is to calculate probability x minus 25 is less than 4. Let me check this fourth part. Yes, these are the questions. I am giving you 5 minutes. Try attempting it. It is a normal distribution. You need to convert this normal distribution into standard normal. So you will define this value z is equal to, for example, so basically this becomes your mu, this becomes your sigma square, okay, sigma square, right. So now if I have my question, I will do one part, then you can do rest, okay. So this is my small x value. What was my standardization process? I will take z less than sign, so I will take less than sign only. It was x minus mu by sigma, right. So x is 26, mu is 25 and sigma is under root 36. So it's basically z less than 1 by 6. You can put in the calculator table books values, and now 1 by 6 is coming out to be okay. Now you can see I do not have exact value for 0.167. I have my values for 0.16. I have my values for 0.17. So you will use either linear interpolation. I would suggest use linear interpolation. Okay, what is the formula for linear interpolation? You have some value at 0.16. For example, you have 0.56356 at 16. You have 0.17 at 0.56749. So you need to calculate at 0.1667. So how do you calculate? The formula will become, at what point do you want to calculate the value? Subtract the higher point upon, lower point, the higher point upon lower point, this multiplied with, let me do here only. So 0.1667 minus 0.16, the higher point, the lower point, multiplied, what I am getting at 17%, what is the value I am getting at 17%, 0.56749, less what I am getting at 16%, plus what I am getting at 16%. So basically if at XA I am getting A value, if at XB I am getting B value, and I want what is the value at X, so my linear interpolation formula would become X minus XA, XB minus XA into B minus A plus A. This is your linear interpolation value. Clear, guys? Or if you want to talk about y, if at x1 I have value y1, if at x2 I have value y2, and I want to calculate what is the value at x, so this x value will come out to be x minus x1, x2 minus x1. Basically your 2-point slope formula, remember this is similar to that only. This is my y2 minus y1 plus y1. Note down these formulas and try solving these two questions I have given you. Quickly first note this formula and then I will show you the question. Noted? Now do this question. I am giving you 5 minutes, then we will start discussing. Guys, I have started receiving the answers. So those who are there in the live class, sitting and watching the class, please give me your answer. It is basically preparing you to give your answer in the exam only, okay? If you are getting a question at the moment and if you can't solve it, that's your ultimate task you need to do in your actual exam, right? So please make a habit of taking out a copy and pen and solving with me. If I am giving you a question, if I am giving you some time, then it's your duty to solve that question. Okay? So I want answers from everyone. Okay, so let's start solving this question now. What was my first part? First part was completely done, right? Let's start from second part only. Probability x is less than 20. So if I standardize this, I will get 20 minus 25 divided by root of 36, which is 6 basically. So using calculator it is basically minus 5 by 6, which is minus 0.833. Now I told you the relationship that probability z is less than minus z is equal to probability z is greater than 0.0833, but my table book values give me probabilities which are less than form. So I can write this as clear. Now I need to check my table book value for this value, right? So let's check table book value. I don't have, I have 833, right? So I will check at 0.8 and 0.9. So at 0.8 it is 0.78114. So let me write it at here. At 0.8 is 0.78814. At 0.9 is, are you able to get why did I take my values from 0.8 and 0.81? Sorry, I have 833, right? So I'll take 0.83 and 0.84. Because my 0.8334 is basically lying between 0.83, it is more than 0.83 but less than 0.84. That's why I am taking these two extremes, okay? So 0.79673. And 0.84 I have 0.7955. So if I interpolate my value as 0.833, it will be 0.8333 minus 0.83 upon 0.84 minus 0.83. Then I have 0.79556, I guess, 79955 minus 0.79673 plus 0.79673. If you calculate this, it will come very close to this only. You can see when I was moving from 0.8 to 0.84, I am getting the change after 2 decimal places. Now I am shifting from 3 to 3. It means it will be very close to this value only. So I am getting 0.79673 only. So my answer would be 1 minus this, so 1 minus 0.79633, which is 0.20367. Clear, guys? rounded off to 0.0204. 24, sorry. Is it okay? Clear? Let's move to third part. What was my third part? Third was to x is greater than 30. So again I standardize z is greater than 30 minus 25 by 6, which is z is greater than 0.833. Now this is 1 minus z is less than 0.833. So again I had the same value. So it is 1 minus 0.7976 equal to 0.2024. Okay. You can see why did we get the same values, because it is 30, it is 25, it is also plus 5 units away from it, it is also minus 5 units away from it. That is the absolute distance between these values is 5 units only, that is same unit of distance. It means they would have equal values. This is because normal distribution is a symmetrical distribution. Okay. Now moving to our third part, we need to simplify the thing first. So my question was mode of x minus 25 is less than 4. So I can say my x minus 25 is less than minus 4. This I can write like this. If I take my minus 25 both sides, it means if I am getting a negative value, it will be obviously less than minus 4, but if I am getting a positive value, it will be less than 4 only. So I am taking 5 both sides. So to remove this minus 25, so my probability becomes from 21 to x to 29. So what is this saying? That it is my x, it is my for example this is my 21, this is my 29. So first is saying, first I take everything which is less than 29. I am covering this portion, but my x values are greater than 21 as well. So it means I need to remove this portion as well. So I can write this as probability x is less than 29, but it will also cover the values which are less than 21. But I want my values to be greater than 21. So I would subtract those values which are less than 21. Again you can simplify this, you can simplify this. Okay guys. If this is okay, give me a thumbs up and then we'll wrap up the class. We are left with 3 more distributions and then we'll cover it in our tomorrow's class, and then our chapter will be completed. We will be covering some practice questions of this chapter as well, and then we'll wrap up this chapter in tomorrow's class. Any doubt till now, anyone? Please revise these concepts, revise all the distributions we have done till now, discrete distribution or continuous distribution. We had been very slow, so it's your duty to revise everything up. For tomorrow's class, I will be taking up some practice questions, so I am expecting you guys will be having the knowledge and the revision of previous distributions we have done, okay? So that tomorrow's class can be effective. Okay, if I have no doubts in the chat section, let's wrap up this class for today. Have a nice day guys.